Are there people and relationships in your life who are totally draining you out of your energy? Like situations when every time you're with that people, you feel like you're giving more and that you are not receiving enough. Not like you were expecting anything, but as we all know, in relationships, it's a little bit of a give and take, but you always feel like you're giving more than what you're taking, and you're living with your tank completely empty. If this is something you've been experienced or you've experienced before, stay with me, because in this video, I am going to tell you why this is happening and ways that you could maybe get yourself out of this situation or change it for the better. So these kinds of situations can reflect in many kinds of relationships in our lives. It's not only with friends, but it's also with family members. And sometimes with family members, this is even harder because obviously we love our family and we want to be there for them. But sometimes there will be family members or there will be people in your life, even colleagues at work, that just completely drain you. And you almost feel guilty because you never feel good after you were with them. And listen, there are reasons why these things happen. And there is a message hide or hidden behind this, what you are feeling right now. The message is very simple. These relationships are no longer serving a purpose in your life. Those relationships are also sometimes very scary to leave behind, because leaving something that we know behind, even if it's bad, it always creates that feeling of anticipation, because then you will go into the unknown. Who am I without this relationship? And obviously, it's hard. It's a hard place to be. It happens also with old friendships that we were nurturing those friendships for a lot of time in our lives, but we reach a point where it seems like we talk different languages and we still want to maintain those friendships, but it totally feels like we are not even thinking in the same wavelength anymore. And that is the truth. This is why it happens. Life, as we know, it's a process of learning for everybody. And as we live, as we experience things good and bad, we grow from them. It doesn't really matter what we go through, we always grow, because growth is learning. And every time we go through situations, we learn something new. And those lessons change us. We change. Change is always good because change is giving us choices to enhance, expand our consciousness, expand our personality, and not stay in what we are, but grow and continuously becoming the better version of ourselves. What happens sometimes is that in that process of growth, we outgrow relationships in our life, and this is the hard part, is when we outgrow relationships that we thought they would be basic and they would always be there in our lives, and then there comes this feeling of guilt. I can't abandon this person, I cannot leave this person behind. Oh, but this is my family member, I cannot just simply erase this person of my life. And this is where the confusion comes. When we are not getting anything from these relationships, when these relationships are actually making us feel bad, but we feel guilty about abandoning them, not even considering that we ourselves are being abandoned in these relationships. Because listen, relationships should go both sides. And if you are feeling this way, the person on the other side should at least feel that something is also not going in the good direction, and there should be an exchange of energy here. But this is what you're feeling, there is not, because you outgrew this situation, and this person is still getting something from you. Because if you're getting drained, is something draining your energy. So this person is still getting something from this relationship. You aren't. We get into these relationships in moments when we need them. And those relationships, they most certainly served a purpose in a time in our lives. And we got into those relationships and because at that time they were nurturing to us in whatever state we were. Sometimes we come out of we overcome certain traumas and we regain self-esteem, or we build up some boundaries with ourselves in our life. And every time we start a path of healing and growth, we observe that some of the relationships we were nurturing until that point are not nurturing us back anymore. Why? Because you've learned, you've evolved. And if the people that were in your life in a past version of you didn't choose or couldn't grow and evolve with you, then maybe you will have to accept and let them be where they are and let them have their own journey and their own growth. And sometimes that means that we have to create space between us and them. And yes, this is very stressful because some of these people may be family members, people we know since we know ourselves, and we feel this guilt. And not only the guilt, but also the anxiety of not being able to give them what they expect of us. The truth is that you don't have to abandon anyone in order to uh, take yourself out or of relationships that are not nurturing for you. Sometimes all it takes is to reframing those relationships. And what I mean with this is giving less energy to these people and creating a little bit of distance and creating some boundaries. And if they love you, believe me, they are going to be okay with it. It's going to have a time of resistance because obviously they are used to the other version of you. And once you come and you're lovingly telling them, hey, listen, I love you, but I am not that person anymore. And this is who I am now. This is how far I have come, and this is how I would like to be respected right now. First, they are going to have this shock of, oh, wait a minute, this person is changed. And well, you're offering them a choice, nevertheless. Do you want to stay with me or not? And mostly the people who love you, they will stay and they will accept. Let me give you an example of my own life. I had this happening with my parents. There was a moment of my life where I started my spiritual awakening, and that brought me a lot of um, growth and a lot of healing. And there was a lot of traumas for me to overcome. And obviously, that changed me, not my core, the person I am. I still am that person, but it didn't change my values, but it expanded them. I am now more than I used to be. And then my parents had a hard time accepting the the choices I was making and the person I was becoming. And yes, they recognized that I was still the same person with the same values, but I was so different to them. I wasn't giving them what they were used to or what they were used to expect of me. And so for a period of time, that shaken up our relationship a bit, but they love me and I love them. And we want to be on each other's lives. So we reframed our relationship. They learned to respect me where I am now, and I've learned to respect them where they are still. Yes, maybe they are in a different place and they will always be, but I am capable of respecting that and not expecting them to meet me where I am. And they are now also um, able to respect me where I am and not expect things of me that I am not going to give. And that made our relationship change and become more healthy. There were other members of my family that didn't accept my change, or that whatever choices I was making in my life were not in the same path they wanted to walk, and that created some distance between us. Doesn't mean that we love each other less. It means that we are in each other's lives in a different way. There is no animosity, but there is also not a close relationship. It doesn't mean that if we need each other, we're not going to be there. We didn't abandon each other. We just went different directions. And that, my friend, that is healthy. So if you are plagued with guilt because there are relationships, close relationships, family relationships, very close friends that you are um, having the feeling they are not so nurturing anymore and that are draining you and that are pushing you and pulling you down, and you know that there's something that have to change, but you are very 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 guilty because that needs to change. Just know you don't have to just eliminate those people from your life. You can show them who you are now, and you can lovingly and gently walking them through what you need right now, and give them time, respect that too, that they will need time to accept that. And once they make their choice to accept or not accept, then you can make your choice, that is to keep those relationships going or not. And believe me, people who love us most of the times will choose to stay in our life. And then there is those relationships who we just have to let go. And maybe it's hard, but like I said in the beginning, they had a place in our life and they had a moment where we needed them and they needed us. At this point, we grew in different directions and they served the purpose they had to. And this brings me a little bit back to another video I filmed a few weeks ago about creating space in your life for new things. Sometimes these relationships we are holding on to because of fear and guilt and anxiety are those things that we need to let go of in order to create space for the people who are now in the same level, in the same frequency as us, and who are going to be nurturing to where we are now. It doesn't mean that in your life you're just going to keep having friendships and then letting them go. And I know the importance of having people in your life that you can trust, but the people in your life that you can trust need to be able to give back to you what you put into those relationships. And we shouldn't be nurturing relationships just for the sake of having a social life. Sometimes in our life, the truth is we need to respect the relationship we have with ourselves first. And if that means taking a little bit of social distancing and first repairing and nurturing the relationship you have with yourself inside here, the way you talk to yourself, the way you set or don't set boundaries for yourself and towards others. All of that is important. Sometimes we need that distancing in order to create a healthy relationship with us first. Because once you are in peace with yourself, once you feel happy, once you feel like you're home again, you will be able to nurture more beautiful, meaningful, and loving relationships. And people around you, they will feel this and they will respond to this and they will start to be able to give back to you. And sometimes what you need is new people in your life. And like I said, and I repeat myself, doesn't mean abandoning, means reframing. Put less energy into things that are not nurturing you, and then put more energy towards things that are good for you. And sometimes it means let go of relationships that are not doing anything for you anymore and allowing new relationships to come into your life. So, can you imagine that maybe at this point there are people waiting for you to create space for them in your life? Maybe relationships that you have been dreaming of, maybe friendships, or even the partner you have been looking for, is it's out there waiting for you to create space, to have enough respect for yourself, to create a space for them to come and then love you and then nurture you. So I know that if we change the way we see these things, they can change also for us, because this is my experience. It doesn't mean that it's going to be everybody's experience, but I know that in general, this is something that we learn with going through the situation. And this is what I've learned. And it was hard for me, just as hard for me that it's probably for you right now, to imagine that I was going to have to create distance between me and people that I was used to having in my life for years and years, or people that I thought they're going to be in my life forever, or family members that I thought that I couldn't show them my boundaries or the truth of who I was at that point, because I knew that they were expecting something different of me. I know how that feels. It's not easy. This is why I'm here telling you it's not easy, but you are capable of doing it. I am for sure, because I did it. And if I did it, I'm sure that you can do it, and you know you can. You're just afraid, just as I was. So take small steps and start by gently talking to yourself about it. Maybe make a mental list of how you're feeling every time you're with someone, or even write it down. It worked for me. Write it down. The name of the person, how do you feel after being with them? And now the holidays are coming. And I know this is a hard period. We are going to be uh, in parties or in family gatherings and places where we have to be with a lot of people. And sometimes we almost feel like we have to kind of shift and change. And, like you're sitting in your chair and you are not comfortable, you keep shifting around in it. And this is how certain relationships feel. So, right now, with the approaching of the holidays, think about this. Make your list, mental, or write it down. Who are those people? How are you feeling about them and with them? Are they draining you out of your energy? And what are the ways? And there are a lot of gentle and loving ways to do this, that you can set boundaries and know how you want to manage those relationships from this moment on. So when you reach the point that you have to be with these people, they will know where you stand, they will feel your boundaries, and they won't step over them. And if they try, just build for yourself that relationship with yourself where you know that you're going to be able to put yourself first, and that you are going to be able to stand up for yourself if that's necessary, and say, hey, I know where this is coming from. That's not who I am anymore. And that is possible. That is possible. And I promise you, it won't destroy relationships. And if it does, be aware of this. Any relationship that you feel like it's being destroyed because you're setting up boundaries, and because you are saying that you are in need of more, it's because those people were not able to give you back what you were trying to give. And if anyone is not able to give you back what you're putting into the relationship, then that is not a relationship you want to maintain, because relationships are a give and take. And if you're just giving and no one is giving you back, and if they don't even want to consider to give you back, then that's not a relationship you want to keep. So, my friend, think about it. Think about yourself with love, respect, and don't be afraid. If you need help, if you need any support, just type in the comments. Tell me about your own situation and how you think that this community could be supportive to you. Sometimes talking about these things helps. And know that you are not alone in this. And even if it's not easy, it is possible, and it's the right step for you. Stay safe and